Is Dropbox any good? Hey everyone, Alex Moen here with today's BizTech tips. And for those of you that don't know, Dropbox, it's a service mostly used for syncing, accessing, and storing data in the cloud. And although it's starting to get into general workplace software by adding abilities to collaborate with others, and it's got some productivity things going on, those aren't really that great just yet, and nobody chooses Dropbox for those. They're just nice little bells and whistles. But what about the cloud storage and the syncing parts? Are those any good? So for most general file types, for most companies, it'll do just fine. So it allows the transferring of pretty hefty data files. Depending on how you have things set up, it could be for files up to 100 gigabytes to 250 gigabytes max. Just kind of depending again on what you have going on. It's also useful for file recovery. It can even have different file histories, and also has remote data wipe capabilities there too, in case somebody, let's say is let go by the company or whatever it might be, and you want to make sure they don't have access or anything stored there. Two of my previous biggest gripes about Dropbox have been mostly resolved. So first, they didn't used to be too great when it came to things of like meeting the needs of highly regulated industries. So at least for healthcare, it now has HIPAA compliance that's been addressed. However, most people that are using Dropbox aren't actually using it in compliance with it. So most people that use Dropbox use it because it's kind of like a budget cloud, thing there, and they get just one user. But to be HIPAA compliant, you actually need every user to be registered because you need to know which person from which device at what time accessed which patient's files. And if everybody's just using one Dropbox folder, you don't know who it is, and you're technically in violation. But that's not Dropbox's fault. That's other people's fault misusing it. The other gripe I used to have was recovery speed, but they've done almost as much as they could do there. So they have two ways of tackling this now that are pretty good. So you can manually set the upload speed to no limit or set it to above your limits that you have from your ISP there. Or if time isn't of the essence, they have a way to have it kind of smart adjust it over time so that your other things running in the background aren't being hampered or your services aren't being slowed or anything like that. So it gives you those different options to handle that. And there are also similar settings for syncing to Dropbox folders. So for how it would work from when you try and put it into the cloud to when it's accessible to other devices or other users. But how does it compare to other options out there? So this kind of depends on your needs. So this is at the time of the making of this video. Right now, if you sign up for a free Google account, you get up to 15 gigabytes for free, and that's split between Google Drive, which is a similar service, and also Gmail and Google Photos. And then there's Microsoft's offering. So there's Microsoft OneDrive, and it currently offers 5 gigabytes for free. So each of these services, they typically have varying offers on ways that you can get it to bump up a little bit more. So if you're keeping things super basic, just go that route there for free, and they're decent. But most people have more data than that. So the way Dropbox starts, it starts at $11.99 per month for an individual user, and that gives you up to 2 terabytes of space. And then there's the equivalent of $19.99 per month for a professional account with a 3 terabyte limit. And then it has business team options and enterprise options. So if you have a business team with 2 or more users, you get a 5 terabyte limit, and it's $15 per user. And then enterprise offerings, they start at about $25 per user per month. And it potentially has unlimited storage, but there are other caveats and things that have to go into getting that enterprise pricing there for you also. So one thing that you can note too is if you pay for the year up front, you get slight discounts on what I just gave you. But purely as a storage, syncing, integrating with CRMs or a boatload of other apps, it's great. Where does it still lack? So it lacks if you need collaborating or if you have lots of people accessing or editing files at similar times. If you have complicated file types that maybe need to reference all sorts of different files, or if you still are in industries with special regulations, you have to be careful in all those instances. And there are some other backup recovery services. I've spoken about backup recovery before. That's a large concern not too many people have there. So if you're in an office that has really limited internet speeds. There are other services out there with flash burn capabilities where they can burn something to a hard drive on their end. So you can get massive amounts of data put through, and then they just overnight ship a hard drive to you. Some people might need that, especially if you need to keep your business up and going. But other than that, it's a pretty solid service. I mean, there's a reason why this company is worth billions of dollars. So if you have any questions or would like to even check it out or set something up, you can see the link below. But don't forget to like, and thanks everyone. Have a good one.